All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good Monday morning for everybody out there. Hopefully, you guys have some sun. We've been under rain for like the last 2 days. I know some people in California are probably looking forward to that. We'd love to have rain. Yeah, downpour yesterday. Today's everything's that wet, gross, but it's not bad. Temperature wise, only 70. So it's yeah. So it's a Monday. Although I don't want to say it's your typical Monday morning, but we do have some movement out there, right? We see a little bit more yen weakness out there, but it's kind of, I would say leveling out from what we saw last week. The pound, you're seeing some strength. Euro pound down just a little bit. Pound yen up 117. Pound dollar up actually 27. So again, a little strength of the pound versus the dollar. And then, again, euro up just slightly. So it's kind of strange. It's kind of like, we get dollar strength, dollar weakness. Well, dollar weakness here, a little dollar strength here, but again, it's more yen weaknesses around on that one. And again, across the board, continued dollar weakness. We've pulled back down. Looking at the dollar, you can see that, from that 109 high, it kind of came back down. And in the overnight, really over the weekend, got back down into that 107.80-ish range. And then it started to tick back up again, which... Again, European session, basically sent it straight down, and then around this 5:30 time frame is where we really started to kind of reverse and play back again. So that's what we're looking at, kind of dollar wise right now. So nothing earth shattering. GDP for the pound actually was a little bit less than expected, much more positive than it was before, but not as good as what they thought it could be. So that's kind of, I don't want to say it's an issue, but, not always what you necessarily want to hear, or I guess not hear, but, kind of see. Yeah, I don't know. I was kind of, at least it wasn't a negative number. I guess that's all I can say, is at least it wasn't negative. Is point two great? It's all right. It could be much worse. And then obviously tonight we have, make sure everything's on. Yeah. Tonight we have, business confidence in Australia. So not too much. A lot of news this morning. There's a lot of people out there talking right now. A lot of the news broadcasters or whatever are talking about all these energy caps and the proposed energy caps. And kind of interesting what they're saying is, it's a great idea and it definitely would help the, the average household. But the idea of like technically capping it, somebody's paying for it. Right, it's not like a free like hey, and a couple different people brought that up, and I think that's very kind of interesting assessment. The gentleman's like, they're like, maybe they're like, we can put I guess the UK has a tax on, maybe we could put a tax on here, of figure out how to tax the rich, and then that can subsidize kind of the energy cost. It's kind of like, well. I don't know. I think the correct answer is not the answer to everything is not, just tax the rich. Just tax the rich. Because, we know how that works. So, when the rich are the ones that make the rules, it doesn't work out well for that one. So we'll see. So, but a bunch of different things. The UK economy is now in a recession officially. I think they've been saying that they've been saying this for a while that, hey, listen, we're in a recession. So this is not new. Not earth shattering. Everybody kind of believed that already. So I don't think anybody was really surprised at all. This is an interesting one too from 5 hours ago, talking about how the BOJ is nowhere near shifting monetary policy yet. I think this really goes back to the point where they said this is not necessarily a yen problem. When we talk about interventions, in reality, what we're talking about is, basically because of, the strength in the Japanese economy going higher. A lot of the weakness right now is not so much the Japanese yen as it is the environment that it is in with the dollar. So kind of an interesting, again, I think they're just reiterating things that they've already said before in kind of a more official stance of it. I don't know. I do believe. Oh, that was interesting. Oh, my lights just flickered. Wonder if there's a tree potentially coming down in the neighborhood, or if a power line got tagged. With that said, if I suddenly disappear, guys, it's just that the power went out. So the power flickered. I don't think we're not really under storm right now, but that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that a tree limb won't still come down with everything being wet. So. That was weird. It's like, why was it doing that? All right. So there's that in there. Oops. Wait, what did I do? Oh, hit the wrong button. Okay. So we got that. All right. Other news out, really not a whole lot out there. It's actually pretty quiet on the news front. You're seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of gray stuff in there. New monarchs talking about independence. I love it. New monarch gives first impetus in this. I love this. New person in. Let's try to get everything we can out of it. Yeah. So not really a ton. Yellen actually saying that potential for a recession is concern and risk. So, I guess she's kind of saying, but she's not. I mean, she shows up as like 0, and that's it. I mean, there's just really not a lot out there. I love this. Treasury suggests Fed contain inflation without killing growth. I think the part that's the part that they're missing the most on that one is, every time that interest rates are risen, there's typically like an equal and opposite reaction in like the housing market, and if you make it too expensive, then people are not buying houses. And again, we've already seen what a real estate crash looks like. So, I don't know if that's kind of the direction that they're not looking at, but I don't know. Like I said, it's interesting that Yellen is saying that because, again, she's showing up not even as a yellow. She's showing up as just a standard gray for that news. So, it is what it is. All right, tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning before we begin, definitely a biggie. Okay. When I say biggie, it is a big headline. It's only a single month over month. It is the summertime. Some interesting things about this that I wanted to make sure that we cover this morning, because it is on tomorrow. So overall CPI is great, and that'll be headline. Everybody like, oh my God, look, what the Fed is doing, it's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But there's more to it. Okay. Yes, the CPI number is great, but remember that the Fed was doing nothing but touting, but the core is, not rising as, that's the one we really care about, is the core, right? And yes, the core is, I would say, the one that is more important, because if you remember, the core is minus food and energy. Okay. We know what gas prices are doing. Gas prices are coming back down. Okay. Does that have anything to do with the Fed? Answer is not really. You may say, well, how? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why is that? Why is it having anything to do with the Fed? Well, the demand is lower in gasoline. We know the demand is high, but we know that large countries like China has 21 million people locked down, right? As well as, they're talking about, getting maybe some additional assistance with production and raises and things like that. So a lot of it is not really anything that the Fed has done. It's more that the supply has increased and the demand is threatened currently right now with China being on basically a lockdown. Okay. Because again, 20 million people is a lot of people. I'm not saying they all have cars, but I'm just saying that, that's a lot of demand, right? As well as talking about bringing different people back online with production. So definitely some changes out there. All this does, it tells us, is something that we already knew, right? Inflation exists, right? Inflation is absolutely still there. It is lower in the sense that gas is cheaper, right? Because that was the original driver, was gas. What this shows me is everything else is now catching up to what gasoline prices were, right? So overall, and again, gas and food is a big factor into this one. But when you remove those two, what it's showing me right now is, again, our inflation is continuing to move. Nothing is really changed yet, right? Minus gas, right? Minus gas, obviously, which again, I'm totally happy with that one. Melissa sent me a picture. I think it was 327. So again, I was pretty excited about 327. I was like, hey, I can handle 327 gas. It's bad when you get excited about $3 gas, right? I feel like I should be really excited when it hits like 290 or something like that. That's when I should get really excited. But with current prices, it's like, oh my God, it's 327. Love it. So, but those are big things tomorrow morning. So, what we can really grasp from that tomorrow morning, I think, is going to be difficult, just for the fact that, people are going to see this and be like, oh, look at this. Let's pat ourselves on the back. It's working. But remember, they're trying to play both sides of the coin. Last time they were celebrating core, and now that core is continuing to rise, they need to still be careful with what they say. So, yeah, we all know gas is going lower. And again, we can only claim so much for that. Hold on. Yeah, so we'll see. But again, two very, very big news releases. Run your standard kind of 30-minute movement tomorrow morning. European session should kind of give us an idea of where the number is going to go ahead of time. I don't really expect them to be too much of a miss on this one. Like I said, I feel like when they talk about not having shocking numbers or surprising numbers, these, I mean, if you look at it, right, there's been some kind of misjudgments on them. But overall, I feel like if it comes in at 0.3, it's been so long, I feel like we're due right now. We've had 5 in a row that they've had big misses, and this one is not, this one historically, yeah, it has more misses than not misses, but I feel like we're due for one, okay? For me, I'm just really curious to see how are they going to kind of define, okay, listen, this is a good, this is bad. I think overall, my opinion on this whole thing is this is not necessarily a great thing. I'm not happy about inflation with everything else besides the two kind of problem children, whatever you want to call them. I don't know. Yes, happy about gas going down, but I wish that this was also at 0 or this was flat. Now, if that number does come in as 0, that will be a huge boost for the economy, not the economy, but the market tomorrow. That'll be a huge takeoff point. So this is actually one of those things that you can play with the indices. Look for a movement about 30 minutes beforehand. If all the indices start to head straight down, again, they're expecting it to kind of hold. Last time it was 0.3. They're expecting it to hold. That means that nothing has happened. If this comes in as a 0.2 and this one is negative, that's a big boost to say, hey, listen, what the Fed is doing is working. Maybe they're not going to be, again, it's definitely going to be a 0.75, but maybe it won't be a 0.75 and then a 0.5 or 0.75 afterwards. Maybe they'll start slowing down sooner than what they've said before, right? And again, that would be a big boom for the overall stock market. Because right now, let's be real, right? The stock market has that one factored in, right? It's in. I don't think there's any question right now that it is in, that it's going to be a 0.75. I think it's the last I checked, I think it was 86% certainty or is what the market is factoring in. I've seen nothing out there that would show me that it's going to be anything less, right? And that's just, it is what it is. So that's it. That's your news for the next 24 hours. Let's dive over into the charts. And again, let's start off with the VIX. So VIX overall for the weekend, nothing too crazy. The VIX can get a little bit weird, right? The VIX can obviously get a little bit weird on Sundays, but nothing really out there. When I was driving Reese to school this morning, there was one of the people talking on about how, I guess basically the assumption is, I guess the headlines are like, oh, Russians are running in retreat, right? And they're like, but that's probably going to piss Putin off. Maybe not. I think pretty much everything makes that guy mad. Again, if they're misrepresenting what the truth of it is, that will probably set him off, right? It just that's that guy, It just sets them off. Everything sets that guy off. So we'll see. I personally don't think that the Nord pipeline is going to reopen. I think that's going to be what his chosen weapon is going to be because he knows what's going to happen. So, again, VIX being where it is right now, it didn't really move much over the weekend. I think that's great, right? That's always nice when you see something like that, right? But again, is what it is. Dollar, we already talked about. Dollar is kind of moving back to the downside. I think the dollar probably increases a bit from here. I would assume it goes a little bit from here, but how far? Whoops. What did I just do? Oh, that was weird. Hold on one sec. Okay. I'm assuming that the dollar continues to rise up a little bit from here, just based off of where we are. I don't think there's too much more movement that we can get out of it, or downward movement on it. Again, the market has got it all. It knows what's going to happen. It knows what it's going to do. But where we go with it from here, I just think we probably run right back up into that 108.80 region. It's probably it for today. Okay. Let's go across and look at the Aussie dollar. Now, Aussie dollar, you can see we're up, 54 pips, not a bad bit of movement in there. We had a bounce Friday, right? Actually, I guess late last night, right? We ended up coming down and grabbing that level at 68.21. Now, 68.21 is a level that we had talked about, and we mentioned it and said, hey, listen, this is a level, we don't know when it's going to break, but when it does, what are we going to do? We're going to sell it. Right now, we came down and tagged a level again. So, love that. Have no problems with that. That one was really, really early morning today. again, European session kind of helped that go higher, and we've come back up into levels that we knew that we were looking for last week. So I think it's good. The fact that we've touched it, we've came down again, and we touched it again, and it left. It shows me that, again, with price being there 4 times or 3 times, that's kind of opening us up for a little bit more of a what's it called? A little bit more of the opportunity for a drop, right? So I'm good with this one. I'm happy with it. Where it is right now, I would say, and again, this is kind of U.S. based session. We're kind of seeing some movement right here that to me looks like, hey, with the U.S. trader back online, U.S. banks coming back online, talking about CPI tomorrow, preparing for it, does probably look like a little bit more of a short today. Now, there are some buyers below, so right now we are kind of sandwiched in, and that makes it a little bit weird. You're always looking at this and say, well, wait a second, there's buyers tested right there. And that's absolutely 100% correct, right? Yeah, there are buyers tested right there. So we are kind of bouncing through. Is it the best opportunity at this point? No, but overall, I do feel like this is more of a bearish trade today. I do think we will roll back down. And again, remember, a lot of our trading is if this, then that. The if this, then that is when it comes down. Like I said, I don't know when, right? But when it does come down, we are looking for a short at 68.21. Okay. Sorry, I hit a button again. My phone is like going crazy today. Again, it's Monday morning. It's like, hey, let's message Brian. So that trade is still on from before. All right, so we're looking for shorts at 97. We got the bounce off of it, and then we ended up pushing it pretty deep yet again. And again, at this point, the market is completely gone. Hit late last night. Again, not interested in really a short. The first one off of it, obviously last week, was fine. At this point, I think kind of marked. I think watch this one. I think there could be again, we bounced off of it now. I think when we come back through again, enough here, enough of a push. We're not taking again a base that told us it was going to break. It came up and then again slammed into it. So question is, have we used up all those buyers at this point? I don't feel that we have. Yeah, I don't feel like all the buyers out of there are gone yet. We may get one more hit off of that level. But if we start to get a base in there, I think that's a good indication that it's time to get short and then run this back into this 97.50-ish area, probably pushing back down here. So right now, I would look at this and say, hey, this is kind of a rock and a hard place as well. We're kind of sitting right there with this one. Yeah, that's kind of it. Yeah, I like the Aussie dollar better one. I think that's more of my favorite than this one right now. Just because, again, obviously some overnight selling in there, came right into that 5:30 window. Looks like it's going to roll back down again. So if we get a base in here, we get any type of base in here, look for a push lower on this one. And again, I think that kind of matches, what we're seeing at the Aussie dollar as well, being up high and then rolling back down again. So they're both in similar, kind of a similar scenario. Okay. Euro dollar. So euro dollar. It looks like in the overnight, again, European session, we ended up driving this one much, much higher. And again, we had a hit here. We've had a touch here. We had a touch here. We had a touch here. There's your 1. There's your 2. There's your 3. There's a base below. You expect it to break. It did. It went higher. So at this point, we'll bring fibs back up again. Now, this is the old level. We're hitting it right now. That's a 23.6. Let's bring this down to a 30-minute. It's a very interesting spot we're in, okay? Again, I've mentioned a few times, I do believe that we'll get some dollar strength coming back into the market. Now, dollar strength would continue this pushing to the downside. Really since, I guess the 3 o'clock pop is here. It's been more or less down, right, with the dollar strength rolling back in again. It's an interesting level because it is set up for a Harry Potter, even though it went pretty far. And it's the 23.6. So there's a lot of factors leading this one kind of in a bullish direction. I kind of think that the dollar will overpower this a little bit more. Again, I'd like to see some basing in here. And again, it may take off and leave, but I kind of like it more to the downside, pushing back to the 50% mark. That's about 80 pips down, so there's a lot of movement in that one. And you can see near the 50, I would actually take the 50 off a little bit early. I think profit taking is going to come in right at this level. So for this one, I like it more to the downside. I think an overall target on this one should be 10048. But again, I do think we are running into some pressure right now because, again, it's been straight down in the European session. We are at a 23.6. There are people that are going to be like, hey, there's the overnight. Let's go. it's just it's one of those things. There are definitely factors that could lead this higher, and if it does, great. Not the end of the world. I do think marking the top off here. Again, this is kind of the overnight piece of it. I think marking this level off is decent because it is a 61.8, right? So it did roll off of that one in the overnight, and again, that's it kind of pushes the brink. Oh, it's this level. There we go. Here, I'll just take that off. There we go. That's the level we had from before. So it did push down, was a 68 trade, right? It is the top now. So if anything, this would have been your profit target first, so you should be out right now. Let's turn this one yellow. This one, there could be, I would say, that more of a green. Highlight that, right? So 10048 is what I'd be looking for. There we go. Oops. I messed up my chat again. Gotta love when I do that. It's one of those days. All right, so there's your euro dollar. Euro pound. Okay, so euro pound. Also, we had this level before. Again, this is right off a European entry. Based off this morning, this came in right at 2 o'clock. And again, red, meaning it's supposed to not be great, but it did this, right? Again, kind of set up as a trap. It had pulled back into that level before. This is one that I'd be very leery with trading because we had seen it, but it was a confirmed level, and all I did was extend it across. Right now with this one, I think it's important, to draw some fibs on this one. From kind of here, this is what people are looking at. You can see we do have a basing level, which was the old 23.6 pullback. It is an area of buyers, and we are starting to approach it right now. Being that we're half hour from a reversal time, again, typically the European reversal, obviously 5:30, not 10:30, but we are coming up to it. It is a 50%. We do have people in, and it was kind of tested in there. I would say there is kind of a reversal opportunity here as well. So, kind of the same thinking. This one is actually very, very small risk. When you look at this one, we're talking about 8 pips worth of risk. So it's not very, very big. In looking at this on more of a fundamental basis, euro versus the pound right now, the pound's officially in recession, yet why are we getting all this strength, right? Well, because they've just kind of finally come out there and be like, yep, officially in a recession, but it's okay. We're not going to, the world's not ending. And again, they're talking about, again, new prime minister, Boris is out, getting some new things out there, right? Which is kind of actually people are looking at that as a positive. So I would say interesting level. If we get a base in there, this could be one of those levels that we take a confirmation. If we come and hit it and pull up and then kind of touch it again, look for a reversal with maybe a color change, a green, red, green on this one. But again, very, very small risk, running back up again, back into the 87 range. Again, the euro is just starting with the raises. I feel like they'll go, but the one thing holding back the European Union is this pipeline that we're going to run out of gas. And Putin's like, go for it, freeze. I don't care. It's up to you. I got heat. So watch that one. But I think that's an important area to watch out for. And again, I'm going to put a price target sitting right here of 86.46. Right, so close. 86.46 is actually where the 50% mark is. I'm sorry, 86.46 is right where the thing is. And then again, in the big push on the larger spectrum, obviously it's a 23.6. So it's a 23.6 overlap by the 50. It's an area of supply, and it has been tested. Those are all things we're looking for reversals. Euro, yen. So euro, yen, we got to adjust this one, raise it up a little bit more. All right, let's see. All right, so we were looking for a reversal. We ended up not getting it at this level. Right? Wait, hold on. Oh, that's okay. That one ended up Harry Potter and kind of off there. But we're going to pull that off. Whoops. Let's pull this off. That was a down. Hit. Kind of retest it, but I'm gonna pull it. Let's do more near term. Yeah, see, this one's a little bit harder. There's not really a lot lining up. There's an invisible line right here, right? This invisible line must be an area. Not really. I mean, there's nothing that shows me there's an area. There is a little bit of movement down here, kind of in this range. It's an okay level, but we're kind of floating in the middle of nowhere, and it was created late in the afternoon, so not the ideal area, right? Honestly, in this one, I think the best thing to do here is kind of mark the top of this one off. How big is that zone? Whoops. Let's see. Oops, not that one. It's 31 pips. It's kind of a large amount. It's right at 145.50. It's going to be a psychological level. Let's see what we got. It's been so long. So long since we've been there. Let's see. 145.50. Yeah, we're sitting in this right now on a daily. So it doesn't really... The next daily level is into 146. So we got some room to run. You can see it right here. There's that daily level, right? That's where we're sitting right now. So we made it within 90. Yeah. I think we probably wait till this one comes down. That one got... It's funny, when I extend this one across, look at all the chop in there. Let's delete that. We'll pull this across. I can't grab it. Change that. Oh, Kip is unhappy. Man, Kip was up like so much last night. It was unbelievable. At one point, Melissa was she was trying to like just get him to cry it out. I'm like, all right, we're on like 30 minutes, and I turned his we have a camera so we can kind of watch to see if he's just doing that like little like pick me up thing when he's like keeping his head down. He was literally trying to jump out of the crib out of his crib area at like 12 o'clock last night. She's like, yeah, I was trying to let him cry it out. I was like, woo, he loud. I don't know. They get to lead. I think 142.50 on this one. Again, potential level right here, right? And again, depending on the time, depending on what we have going on, that could also be a reversal level, right? The 143.46. All right, pound dollar. So pound dollar, you can see we had a hit. We had kind of a late last hit last night, and then a lot of basing here in the channel and a base before. So as far as kind of that level, we've hit this thing enough times now with the original zone formed here, right? The original zone formed here, a hit, a hit, a hit again, a hit again. We obviously can't take much out of it. So it never gave us a pullback. So we can extend the fib on this one and kind of see, and again, you can see right now the 20, we're going to pull this one off. You can see the 23.6 level is kind of that old level now, right? Let's pull this off. We got this. Whoops. I just want to cancel it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. I don't need it anymore. 1600. Pull that. I'm going to leave that Harry Potter on there right now. All right. Not quite at a reversal level yet. We haven't put a top in there yet. Maybe it could be forming right now. I mean, there is a level. Let's see. How much is it? It's 19 pips. Not horrible. I think there's a level probably coming in here. Here is... Oops. There's 1700, so you can see what we're running into. Like, why is it chopping back and forth? It's because the 1700 right here, right? Style, right? So we know that that's going to be the big level. All right, hold on. Right? Where we break through with this one. I think we look for a top on this one. What do we got next? Let's see. We need 50's not till up there, but I'm not actually really even concerned about that 50. That one's actually already pushed. Problem is that one's already really been pushed, so it's kind of like it's not the best place to take another short off of, right? Because it's already just kind of peeked its head out the top. So right now, I would say look to see what we do in this level. Now, this is an opportunity where if we come up in base in here, and again, this is the yen is very or not the yen. The pound is extremely beaten up at this point. How far we got to run? I would like to get a top in there. I would like to find a top, but we don't really have anything as far as kind of supply zones go in this one. Let's see something here. None. Claimant count. Including labor. See, this is their unemployment, their claim account. So again, that could give us a little bit of a surge. And again, has it jumped yet? It hasn't moved yet. Yeah, so there's a lot of factors in this one. And again, purely technical basis, there's nothing great over here looking. Oops, I didn't want to move that. There's nothing really great over here that I'm like, oh, that's an awesome place for a reversal. So, although, basically the time is the one thing that we have that really, to me, says, hey, listen, that's it. It's reversal time. The only technical level we have up here, it's already been kind of breached out of the top a little bit, so you want to be a little bit cautious with it. But if it does base sideways, could it go higher? Yeah, probably. And I think the next kind of target where we see sellers coming in is probably that 1840. It's quite a bit of movement. I mean, that's 140 pips. The pound dollar can absolutely do that. CPI could absolutely set us off. And again, we talked about factors already that could lead for the dollar. If the dollar comes in, if the CPI comes in kind of weaker, if this comes in as a 0.2, meaning it raised, but it didn't raise as much as what they thought, that's a weak dollar signal. That sends us higher. So at this point, again, I would say that I got to be looking more for longs. I would like to short it because I do believe that overall the U.S. is in a better situation, and we are raising. But I think in the near term, with everything going on, I think that this one may have an opportunity to rebound back up into the 1800. Would not be surprised if we get up there this week. And again, there's no sellers that we can see on the left. Pound yen. So pound yen, there was the trade from last week. We can remove it off now. It came all the way and retraced all the way back down to that level. Let's bring this back up again. Not much in this one. I would say this one is also kind of, again, it's showing pound weakness on there. We'll see. And again, this is more yen weakness. Like I said, the Bank of Japan seems completely against raising whatsoever. Like, nah, we're good. But I think there'll be a limit on it eventually. So you can touch it. Yeah, I pulled back and touched it. So just getting this one clean. It's kind of what we're looking at right now. There's a small level at the 61.8 right here. I don't know if you guys can see it. The base right there. And then again, we have the touch off of it. Here's your overnight. See how that comes in? Your 61.8 is on the proximal side of that one. I'd say if we do get a short, this is profit target number 1 right there. Actually, I'd probably raise it just a little bit. Profit target would be right there. So, right there. Let's extend these across. That one's still good. Good and good. Yeah. Like I said, it's riding high right now. So, yeah, it's all right. Dollar CAD continuing to deteriorate. Why is it continuing to deteriorate? Just again, dollar weakness today. All right. And oil is up. Another 1.68%. Oil higher, CAD strength, dollar weakness today across the board, continuing to push lower. So we're getting really close. We've talked about this level here, this 129.73. You can see that, we took a bounce pretty deep here. We hit it again here. We hit it again here. And this is hit number 4 through. So, we could technically run this across. and say that, hey, listen, we're kind of getting to that stage where we're to trade. We can pull this off and hit the 78. We don't need that anymore. And we'll pull this down to currently right there. Nothing we're super concerned about yet. So just continuing to kind of take this one short. And again, what we just mentioned before, that weak CPI number, guess what? That also sends us lower. So, I'd say right now, again, we're kind of entering this position. We need a profit target over here at 129.06. And number 2 is sitting right down here. So there's kind of your 2 profit targets in the short. And again, if you want to wait for the pullback, you probably can. Just don't, it has hit 4 times. So just don't get too greedy. Be like, oh no, it wasn't the perfect entry. We'll see if we can survive this 10-30 time frame. All right. Dollar Swiss also continuing to deteriorate. So we did have a touch here, and you can see that it blew through. We had talked about this level in the past. We had our 1 hit, we had our 2 hits. This was hit number 3 and kind of broke through. And again, we typically don't take longs on a hit 3. We're looking for more of a collapse. And it did. It came back up, it came down, and then boom, right there, it kind of went through with that kind of continuation trade. Looking at 95, we mentioned 95 as being kind of where the low was. 95 puts us in an interesting spot. If we come down and tag 95, you can see that the 23.6 is starting to go back to a level of basing. All right. So right now, actually, let me draw. We'll just mark the old level off. We're going to use that level. And then I'll delete this because we don't need it anymore because we've hit it enough times now. 78 is lower. There we go. We're going to use that as a level. Now here's a question. No, I have to run it the whole way. So yeah, you could be in the short. Once we get to 95, then I think it really makes a big of a difference. We do have a smaller level tucked right behind it at 94.87. It's hit it twice already. So, but again, kind of the same story we're seeing for everything else with the dollar. And again, with CPI, this is where they're preparing for it ahead of time, or people already know what the data is going to be. Not much you can say about it. So, Euro yen. Euro yen. We got the 1 trade, then we base. We opened down lower on the weekend, and it came back up, and we're basically where we closed on Friday. There's really no difference right now. Does it say that we're flat? No, it says 41 because it's rolling in the last 24 hours. But you can see there was the close on Friday, and there's where we are right now. So we are officially 5 pips away. 5 pips away from where we are. And you can see, is there really trend in the dollar yen? No, not really. It's literally going sideways. Nothing we can really trade on this one. If anything, to me, with the higher highs in here, the lower highs and the lower lows, I would say we're probably turning back again. And this is more of a yen strength play, but right now it's yen weak, dollar weak, and if this is starting to go push to the downside, and again, you can see it, it's 0.04%. It's not really moving, not really trending. I would look for this one to roll back down. Probably, if I had to make an assumption, I would say down here at 141, like 60-ish, is probably where it's going to roll back down to. So, it is 70 pips down. Obviously, tomorrow this will be a big one, right? This will be a big one for tomorrow. So, you can play it as you like. All right. Cryptos, you're seeing they're making a bit of a recovery, right? They were all the way down here at the 19s, and they were like, oh, God, we're trending lower. And we've really got an explosion back up. But with dollar weakness, you tend to see the cryptos go higher as well. There was news, and actually, it's funny. You see Ethereum actually is down a little bit versus the other cryptos. Ethereum, I was reading something this weekend. They actually have their date when they are no longer using GPUs to mine it. That there is a new process to make it more environmentally friendly, because currently right now it is not. They have their new methods that are in, or they announce when their method is, and there's actually a name for it. It's called like the merge or something like that. It's a big thing, right? It's a big thing. I don't know, but I was reading an article on it, and yeah, it's coming up. They're trying to make Ethereum more user friendly, and it was funny. The article basically talked about how there was such a run on GPUs last year, like you couldn't get one, and it did. I mean, it took me 6 months to get one. I ended up winning like a Newegg giveaway, like a Newegg contest is how I got my video card. Because the crypto miners were buying every single one of them, and there was people were posting pictures. I have 40 of them, and normal people couldn't get them. Ethereum's going away from that. They're not going to have you're not going to be able to mine them on GPUs anymore. So, because again, extreme energy hogs, definitely not environmentally friendly. So yeah, it's funny seeing that one down a little bit, and then Doji obviously up a little bit as well, but not really kind of leaving its not really leaving its range here. So TLT for the day, bonds. I'd say it's more sideways, not a whole lot, right? Nothing in there that you're looking at this and you're like, wow, that's a great one. Nothing that I'm like, yeah, it's good, not good, kind of flat. So let's go across and look at the energy. So looks like about 2 o'clock on the 9th, we did get a rollover in oil. It ended up moving pretty decent amount, right, from kind of over the weekend, right? It started, ended, and then continued to push back down again. We had talked about that as a rolling point. Again, I think oil is very risky to take over the weekend, but that's where the movement was. It came back up and is now basing in that level and use it to pull back. So we can delete some of these things now. So there's it's this one. No, it's this one. The 78.6 has officially been tagged, right? Now, we are approaching the 50, and I think it's important to kind of point this one out as well. The 50%, there was sellers sitting up there at 89.44. Do we draw a level off of it? It's an okay level. I mean, you can see that it's kind of an old level, right? It's the old level here that got kind of broken, and then it was a top, then it was a bottom, then it was a top, and pushed in. So it is a level. We are getting pretty close to it. That level is coming in right at 89.09. So, yeah, watch out for it. Is it going to be? Is it going to be a line in the sand? It's probably going to be a reversal point. Again, the 50 is at a distal level of the zone. It is an old zone, but we've hit this zone multiple times at this point. And this last touch pushed pretty deep in. The way that it's fighting too, I almost feel like it's probably going to reverse back again. Trying to see. I kind of feel like this is a decent, let me see. Yeah, 1 to 3 is right there. I mean, profit taking in this one has to occur right there. It's not a horrible trade setup. I don't know how much CPI is going to really affect it. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think that could be that you could use that as a potential trade setup. Getting short on this one at 89.09. Looking for a profit target to come down to 87. What is that? 87.71. Yeah, that's not bad. That is not horrible. There are worse trades out there. If we can make it up there. Now the question is, can we make it through this 1030 reversal? That's the big question. There's nothing over there on a fundamental level. I'm sorry, a technical level. Looking at this here, there's nothing here to really stop it. You can see it's running into something right now. But yeah, so it's a decent one. Natural gas. Look at that spike. Now, it's funny if I just extend this line across, right across. You can see we tagged it this morning at 8:30. And nice little pop. And again, we're pulling up into the 23.6. We're kind of at the same thing. We're hitting a level right now where we had sellers in the past. Not really a great level. It was an old violated level. It is at 23.6 though. But I think right now, up here, I think we look at $8.41. It's in the close proximity to the 50. It is an area of sellers. Question is, can we make it through? And this is kind of a parabolic move, but honestly, this is that one for me that I'm like, yeah, I just really don't want to get short this position because at any moment there could be a headline, and we know what the headline is. I mean, Putin was basically fine. We don't have to turn the pipeline back on. If you guys just want to go at it anyway, don't worry about it. Yeah. Any other chart out there? I'm like, yeah, it's good. Right? Yeah, definitely take this one short. I think wait for it to get up to the 50. I think that's a better place for it. And again, I just believe long term that this one has the ability to go higher. I think it's nice to talk about capping it, and in theory that sounds great. Somebody's got to pay for it, and the answer is, again, I just don't believe the answer is just tax the rich more. They love it. They love it. Yeah, they can do it. The rich stay rich for a reason, and it's not so they can, pay everybody's stuff. So, yeah. Is there anything else in this one level wise that we like? Nah, 840. I think 840 is decent. I don't know that I'd take it along with that 770 again, though. We did hit it this morning here, but I don't know that I would take another one. But I think you wait for a confirmation. I think we push in. I think you could have this right from that zone, because again, that's a good reaction. Good reaction, right? Yeah. All right, let's go to gold. So gold, interesting spot. So we really chopped through this before, and again, this one really started to hit at 3 o'clock this morning. You can see that it's having a hard time. And oops, I didn't want to move that. Some of the gold issues right now, obviously, are because of the dollar, and most of them are probably for the dollar right now. It's really going to be more of a CPI thing, whether it's working or whether it's not working. I kind of like where it's peaked up here. I do think that overall, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a weak dollar, but even if it is weak, that it's not going as high as possible. I do think all we're doing is really looking for short opportunities in gold. I don't think we wait for. I don't think we look for any more kind of a return to kind of a surging, $2,000 gold. So it. Oh God, I keep moving this one. I was trying to grab. It's not gonna let me do it. No, it's not gonna let me do it. Okay, I'll do it this way. There we go. So there's where the old level was, right? We can see a hit. We can see a hit. We're kind of flirting with it right now. I can jack fibs up a little bit higher, right? And you can see the 23 on here is providing some movement. So I would say right now, kind of be looking for somewhere in this area here. Again, it's not the exact bottom. I would say that probably there is. When that breaks, I would say that this is probably going to be my next short for gold. Here. Right there. There's 1 to 3. Profit target in gold should be coming in right there. See how close we get on that one. Yeah. Not too bad. Right. There's where your profit target should be for gold. So there's a trade in here. Again, CPI may, I don't know, I guess it could provide a little bit of a bounce, but overall, I think this the next decent trade in gold is taking this one short. So silver taking off. Now, silver is up. Again, gold is up 0.75. Natural gas is up 2 and 2. Silver is up 5. So is it doing double? Yes. Is it doing triple? It currently is. So it's rallying back up again, and you can see it's actually cleared through this level of the old 61.8 with no problems. Well, I don't want to say no problems. It did hiccup a little bit, but we don't need that anymore. Next level above, which also happens to be a major milestone, and again, we know we have 2 levels in there that are tested. Right up here at, the testing comes in 1993. So let's bring this here. Let's turn this 19. Oh, I was close. 93. No, not text. Background. Let's turn that sucker red and white. All right. So we are coming up to a level. Now, I do like the acceleration in silver. And then again, there's a number of factors why silver has the ability to raise. But I would say look for a silver to potentially turn around today. With the big burst up in here, you can see that the 23.6 is currently sitting down here. And this is where our profit target would be sitting. Typically right there, and actually it coincides right now, but if it comes up a little bit higher, you can see it misses by just a little bit in that push, and I'm just going to put it up. I'm going to put it right there. But I think silver comes up and tags 20. It's only 20 cents right now that you can gain to the top side, but look for a basing and holding it up here at $20, and then look for it to potentially turn and roll back down, and I think 1928 is kind of the overall target of what you're looking for. All right, let's go up and look at the indices. So VIX looks like it's holding firm, not doing anything too crazy. Let's check our opening prints for today. Drop it down to 15 minutes. Look at that, hit right off that level earlier today. It was a 5:30 reversal too. Super early. All right, 9:30 is right there. So unfortunately, this is one that, I mean, I guess if anything, you could have said, well, wait a second. There's a top. There's a confirmation. Right? We're going to remove this. We're past it now. With it being right here at 9:30, this may be one of those ones that you would have gotten stopped out on. And I'm actually happy to say it. There you go. This would have been one that you could have entered in a short. It was confirmed from the overnight. And again, Mondays are always a little bit more risky because, again, there's not really any true volume setting those overnight trades up. But here's one where you could have gotten in this trade. You could have gone short. And at this point, you're losing. Unless we have a major turnaround, you're going to take a loss on this one. So there we go. I'm going to say, listen, that one triggered. And there's, again, it seems like these are all, most times these are working. There's one that didn't, right? So I can go ahead and I'm going to actually put it on here. I don't care. It is what it is. Every trade does not work, and this one finally got broke through. And again, the reason I'm telling you guys is understand that no system is perfect. This one, most of the triggers are working, but it's nice to be able to show you when it doesn't work. And again, they're not all going to work. Just, again, it's more about the risk than it is the trades. But, it does bug me when it's like every example, it's like, yep, this one worked, this one worked, this one worked. It's nice when I have one that doesn't work because I want to make sure that I'm realistic with you guys. It doesn't work every time. It's not supposed to. Nothing does. Anybody that tells you that does is full of it. So there you go. There's one entry, one loss for today. And again, Monday is not necessarily the most ideal time for it, but it is what it is. Where does this one stop? Let's see. Problem is right now, and again, I'll go to 30 minutes so we can see more candles on this one. This is what we're dealing with right now. Price is sitting right here on this line, right? There's not really a whole lot into this one until all the way up. There is an old level that we've never retested. We just kind of blew through it. If anything, I would say maybe we use this as a slow point and then a punch higher, right? Again, we've already hit it. It's already been a trade. Maybe this is how we trade this one. We look for a break, and we go here. That's what it would look like in a run up to there. Now, very, very interesting. And again, I think we can base in here. And again, if we don't roll off of that one at 10:30, again, we know we're sitting in there's a large racetrack right here. I mean, this is from there up, right? Big racetrack right there, right? We know that there's no sellers. It was news. So, yeah, I would say, again, look for this one that kind of popped through here. As we break through 41.84. It was not an opening print, but there is kind of a trade set up in here, and it's interesting watching this rally up again. Be curious to see where we are tomorrow morning. And again, if that CPI comes weak, that core comes in at 0.2 instead of 0.3. I think this one comes up, and we end up tagging this one tomorrow, this 42.12. And then what it'll be is, well, we're still raising it. This is only one thing. It just basically shows us that, energy prices coming down. Yes, we know that energy prices are coming down. They've already come down. So, yeah, there you go. NQ, let's see. Would this one have triggered? 830. This one, not so much. It was a level, but it had been touched multiple times. We hit it here. We hit it here. We hit it here. Could you have drawn something along those lines? Yes, but we already have a line there. We know that this has been a hiccup before, and we've already bounced off of it before. So it wasn't necessarily clean. The 930 mark was right here anyway, so... and this wouldn't have actually hit. Let's see. It's funny that the gap, there's your weekend gap right there. Came right off. This would have been a pre-market mover. So 830 is where we tag this zone. So you may have got, again, this is not an opening print, so I'm not going to throw it into the statistics. But there, 1 to 3. There would have been your 8:30 trade setup this morning. So again, not opening print. 8:30 is a little bit early, but it did come back and grab the gap. Right, came down and touched it, kind of confirmed it, hit it again, and took off. So there was a trade there, but again, not an opening print based trade. We're in the same scenario here. We're in a bit of a racetrack. So this one also has more room to run today. Look at that. We got all the way up top. I mean, that's a lot of movement. A lot of movement. Look at that, right? Because again, obviously news-based move. So yeah. NQ looks like it has the ability to be positive today. YM. All right. So YM again. We closed Friday in this top level, which means it's invalidated. We're not using it. It's funny. It did tag it at 10:30 and reversed back down again. I wouldn't say a full mark, but and then came up and we closed in it, which again that means it's not a short. It opened in it again. So it is funny that it did Harry Potter off of it. But if we take, whoops. Again, there's your gap / overnight basing. Same scenario. 8:30 in the morning, 9:30 it was already into the trade. Again, same hit. There's your 8:30 trade. and 1 to 3 is right there. So if you grabbed it at 8:30, you're good to go. You just got out of it with your 1 to 3. You were already about halfway through it at 9:30, so would not have qualified for a setup today. So, but had you taken the the 8:30 trade setup, then again, you were good to go. Russell, let's see. Would Russell have got anything? I think Russell missed it. Russell did pull back. Let's go down to 15. Russell actually could have given you, if you said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to use this right here. There's my near my close proximity base." It did actually touch it at 9:30. So, and your 1 to 3 is right there. There's 1 to 308. So you're past. It did have that same gap trade though. There was your gap. There's your basing in the gap, and there's your takeoff. But there's your near-term proximity, or your near-term your basing. And again, 9:30. I don't know if you guys can see the candle. It's kind of a weird. This red one right here, where it's like up, down, and it literally closed right there. That's what ended up triggering the trade off the top of this green candle, right? Kind of came up, based, space, boom, and off. So looks like, again, two would have triggered for an actually opening print. One of them went to, its full 1 to 3 target. One of them you would have taken a loss on. The other two that didn't trigger already had trade setups in there that started at 8:30. So you were already in a trade by 9:30. So unfortunately, there's nothing you could have done on that one. But both of them are full. So again, you could have been 3 out of 4 in the morning. I didn't even check ES. 8:30 is here. It's not really. I mean, yeah, I don't know. You kind of got to look at it like that and say, yeah, probably. So maybe you already long this one as well. But again, this one is, I'd say with this test, this is more close. This is closer and more of a test than what this would be. So, yeah. So, 1 for 1, still up +2. So not bad. All right, that's it for today. Let's see. Where is it? I was like, what thing is it on? All right, so Marina is going for number 3, right? She hit her double last week. She's going for 3. Everybody else is going for 1 for 25 chips. Who are we missing today? We got Will. Neuro's not here today. Look at that. Neuro's not here. I was gonna say, it did seem quiet today. I don't know if Neuro's on vacation or what he's doing. Hopefully he's okay. I don't know if any of you guys are affected with it right now, but Asher has COVID. This is his second time having it. He had it at Christmas last year or whatever. Last Christmas he had it, and now got it again. Had a 103 fever on Friday night. So he's dealing with that. Reese is with me. Reese does not have it. Reese is Reese is the last man standing here, right? He's the only one that hasn't officially ever gotten a positive. So he's next, or he's just one of those people that's immune. So it is what it is. All right. Yeah. Asher's he's I don't know. Oh wait, what? Nope, sorry. Yeah. So Asher's he's better now. I don't want to say he's not cured yet, but he doesn't have a fever anymore. He just had it for 1 day, or I guess 2 days. But mom is like tempting fate. She's like, yeah, he slept in my bed the other night because he was so upset. I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, you're really trying to get COVID, huh? So I don't know. All right, winner is Eki. Look, it's a Monday. I mean, Eki gets like his superpowers on Mondays, so yeah, it's a superpower. So Marina got stopped. It was a 1 for 1. She didn't go in heavy today, but Eki, congratulations. Let's give Eki his chips. Get your 25 chips. There you go. There you go. All right. So, like I said, tomorrow morning, definitely a big day. CPI is going to be, again, it's what everybody's looking at right now. Inflation is the main driving force in the markets. The data is supposed to be, it's forecasted that it's going to be, somewhat in a positive light. It's nice to see the overall CPI number coming down, but we know that's literally gas prices coming down from their highs, from where they are now. Check this out. He won't have to pay inheritance tax. I wonder, someone's got to have that. Isn't it nice? I mean, this is, again, we talk about, the rich stay rich, right? Look at that. He's not having to pay his inheritance tax. The UK government safeguards the royal family's assets from being wiped out if two monarchs were to die in a short period of time. Passed away 20 years ago, exercising the first part of the provision. By that numbers, Charles inherits this, racked up 27 million in revenue. Wow, the Queen, Charles inherits, which, wow. Wow. I didn't realize that was a thing. $27 million, that's not bad, right, to be the Queen. It's all good. All right, I'm out of here, guys. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning. Remember, tomorrow, Tuesdays, is 9:30, right? We'll be on 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody be safe today. If you need anything, shoot me a message, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.